Hello Internet Drummers! Today I'm going to show you how to make the hi-hat go up and down so you can make sounds like these. Getting the hi-hat to go up and down is actually a fairly simple process, so I'll also cover some troubleshooting tips in case you run into difficulties. Let's begin by assuming you have a fully functional and properly assembled hi-hat stand. When you push down with your foot, the rod should move up and down like so. So simply push down a little bit with your foot and then tighten the wing nut on top of the cymbals. When you release your foot, the top cymbal should come up and the bottom cymbal will stay where it is, creating a gap in between. Now you can use the foot pedal to open and close the hi-hats. Push down to close them, lift up to open them. Alternatively, you can raise the top cymbal with one hand while tightening the wing nut with the other. This produces the exact same effect as pushing down with your foot. The most common question at this stage is how far apart should the cymbals be? And the answer is essentially however far apart is comfortable for you. However, the further apart you make the cymbals, the harder you're going to have to press with your foot to get them to come back together. And if you raise the top cymbal using your hand, you can actually make the cymbals too far apart. In this case, no amount of pushing or horses or king's men is going to make these cymbals come back together again. Just experiment to see what feels good for your foot and also lets you get all the sounds you need. I keep my hi-hat cymbals a little less than 1 centimeter apart. That works for me, and it might be a good place to start for you. If you followed these directions and your hi-hat is now moving up and down, congratulations, you're finished. Now would be a great time to check out some other videos like left foot hi-hat sounds or left foot hi-hat patterns. If you followed these directions and your hi-hat is not moving up and down, well, you have a problem, and it's probably with your hi-hat stand. So I'll cover some of the most common issues and see if I can talk you through fixing them yourself. The first thing that might happen is you push down on the pedal and neither the pedal nor the rod move. If that's the case, first check the wing nut of the hi-hat clutch. If you tighten this wing nut, or if someone else tightens this wing nut, while the cymbals are in rest position, you've essentially locked them together. Loosening this wing nut will unlock them, and now the pedal and the rod should move together. If the top wing nut is loose and the pedal is still not moving, check to make sure there are no obstructions underneath the pedal itself. You'd be amazed how often a drumstick or a shaker will roll under the pedal, preventing you from pushing it down. If the pedal moves, but the rod does not, that means the pedal and the rod are no longer connected. And typically, these things become disconnected in one of two places, either the chain at the top of the footboard or the rod connection point in the middle of the stand. To check the chain, just look at it. Does it look like it's connecting the pedal and the rod? Is one end dangling off into space? All hi-hat stands are a little bit different, but generally the chain connects to the footboard underneath with a little screw and connects to the rod with some type of nut. If the chain appears to be in working order, then remove the upper tube of the hi-hat stand, taking the cymbals off first obviously, and look at the rod itself. Most drum hardware manufacturers make hi-hat rods detachable so that the whole stand is easier to move. Sometimes these become disconnected accidentally, so you may need to reattach the rod or at the very least screw it in more tightly. If your rod is cracked or cannot be reattached, you might have to buy a new one, but most drum companies sell these separately for this exact occasion. If the pedal and the rod both move, but the cymbals don't seem to be responding, you might have a problem with your hi-hat clutch, which is this funny looking thing that connects the top cymbal to the hi-hat rod. So let's assemble one of these together so you can check if yours is assembled properly. Let's start with the pieces you should have, and I'm going to assume something has gone horribly wrong and your clutch is entirely disassembled. You should have a threaded tube, a wing nut, 2 felts, and 2 nuts. You should also have 2 cymbals, but that seems rather obvious. First, take the threaded tube and the wing nut, gently screw the wing nut into the hole on the side of the threaded tube. And when you look through the tube from either end, you should not be able to see the end of the wing nut. If you can, just back it off a little. Take one of the nuts and screw it onto the end of the threaded tube, and you're going to have to go probably most of the way up the tube. Then take a felt and slide it up against the nut. You are now ready for a cymbal. So holding this clutch upside down, take a cymbal, also upside down, and place it on the clutch. Don't worry, we're going to flip everything over and it'll all be right side up in just a minute. To finish the process, take your second felt and slide it up against the cymbal. Remember, we never want to have metal on metal contact. Then take the final nut and screw it on the threaded tube in order to secure the cymbal. Voila, you now have a properly assembled hi-hat clutch. Take your bottom hi-hat cymbal and just slide it over the rod. It sits on the hi-hat seat assembly with no special equipment, though make sure there's a felt underneath. Then take your top hi-hat cymbal, which is now properly attached to the clutch, slide it over the rod, and you are finished. Now you can use the method from the beginning of the video to make your hi-hat go up and down. At this point, if everything seems fine, but your pedal is still not working, then simply take it down to your local drum shop or local music store. Odds are they can help you much more efficiently than the internet. Okay, that's all for today. We learned how to make the hi-hat go up and down, and we also learned some troubleshooting tips for the most common issues. Once you've got the hi-hat moving, check out some other videos on left foot hi-hat patterns to incorporate this sound into your playing. If you have any questions about anything we went over today, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching.